over again. There you go.
There we go. Well, welcome everybody for Doc and Queenie Facebook Live today, September 26th at
Hi, dude.
Can you believe the month is almost over?
I seriously am blown away, and I say this every single week, how incredibly fast the time has gone. And one of the things I am very into, and no haters, por favor, but I have been watching the Royals all season because I just keep thinking there's always a silver lining.
Yes.
And their season's almost over, and that seems impossible. Yes. I prefer not to talk about the Chiefs right now, but I'm kidding. But even so, it's just amazing to think that we've gone from baseball to football, and now people are thinking in terms of holiday. I think it's Rosh Hashanah for our Jewish friends right now, and all of those things. Everything is just, the transition piece is phenomenal. And if you don't believe that, look outside. The leaves are just getting that weird little thing, like they're curling up a little bit, getting ready to change color. The wind is different. The sunshine on your house shifts around. It's just a phenomenal time to be alive. I love this.
I love this time of year too. I like the warm days and the cool nights.
Yeah, it's definitely been cool nights for sure.
But I actually think I like all of the seasons. Yeah. I would say summer's probably my favorite, but I don't mind this transition. I just need a little more warm days so I can get my greenhouse up, and then I'll be fine.
Well, what I saw on the weather, actually, the good news really is for this week in Kansas City, it sounds like it's going to be 70-ish during the day and sunny, and 40, 50-ish at night. Now, obviously, you are the expert in all things gardening. Is 40 and 50 too cold for some of the stuff that you're growing right now?
I still have, and I've talked about this before, I've got this plant. It's called Malabar Spinach.
Okay.
It's a tropical plant. So 40s and 50s is not, it's already turning, its leaves are changing yellow. They're turning yellow.
So is Malabar Spinach one of the things that you're going to be putting inside your greenhouse?
I would like to. This winter will be an experiment winter because, of course, I've never had a greenhouse.
Okay.
I've had a hoop house, which is a temporary structure, but I've never had anything that is like this greenhouse, which we joke about. I was very specific in how I've designed it and how I'm building it.
Okay.
I think we're going to run into the greenhouse if there's a tornado because I don't think it's going to. I'm hoping it won't fall down.
Well, from the pictures that you put on your Instagram pages, this puppy sounds like
that's the only bed.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. We've done a lot of. It's as permanent as you can make a greenhouse, and this is not a kit. This is built, stick built, I guess you could say, from the ground up. Literally, I mean, I've been working.
I do. I think that's phenomenal. Your pictures.
I was looking. Great. I want to say 28th, but I can't remember. But
wait a second.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can. I actually started at the end of July 28th.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where the official. I guess as soon as I the first dig into the sod to get rid of the sod was so I'm gonna have to go. I did actually make a picture, so I will have to go back and look for the specific date. I'm not sure if the Malabar spinach will survive this winter in the greenhouse, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try a few things once we get the structure up.
Wow. So, I think this is exciting. And like I say, with the time and the season and all of those things and the sunshine shifting in your house and your office, all of those things are transition and fun, and the colors. And I know some people are pumpkin spice fans, and other people are like, ew. And so I always tell people that if you like pumpkin spice, you probably like sweet potatoes and eggnog and things like that. And most of them go, ew. So it's just always interesting, the flavors that come with the memories that come with the different seasons. I just think it's exciting.
Now, I think this would float your boat. Maybe. I saw the other day, I had to run to Walmart for something.
Okay.
They had Christmas decorations they were putting up. Or, for sale.
Nice.
And I'm like,
No, I agree.
I
It's too
think
early.
it's a little early. I don't read early last year, but
I
my
never
children,
I never think, well, I don't know. I guess if you're preparing to do your stuff now, maybe, but I can see that more in a Hobby Lobby kind of place when you're trying to make crafts and things to do with Christmas. But if you're actually putting up ornaments, I don't know. It does seem early. I feel it's a little more logical to do it after Halloween.
well, I have this, and I have to open up to a family tradition for a moment, or I should say, my tradition. My family, my husband doesn't care. My children roll their eyes. November 1st, I start my Christmas music playlists. And they're like, oh. But, I mean, I play November and December. I mean, and then I cry December 26th because Christmas, of course, like we say, it just flew by. It's over. And I let my Christmas tree stay up until January 1st, and then we take it down, and so
Oh, I know. And I know it's the tradition thing. I think Karen Higgins and I are Hallmark movie fans, and Christmas seems to be my thing for sure. And sometimes and I think it's the middle of the night. It's probably only 8 o'clock and it's bedtime for me. But the middle of the night, I'll say, "Oh my gosh, did you see the favorite movie?" And we type back and forth on Messenger. And it's just such a cool thing to be able to um, I don't know, get in the spirit of the season. And obviously, I get it. You probably know the ending of most of the Hallmark movies. Hello, duh. But it's just nice to, for what I actually get on those for is to see the fashion and the
yes.
decor. Because Balsam Hill is, of course, the sponsor for much of the Hallmark Christmas movies, especially. And I see these fantastic ornaments and this glorious lighting and how to set up a something. And especially, obviously, the new movies they have new Christmas movies. And so Balsam Hill is just on fire for some of this cool stuff. And I just love Christmas decorations, especially.
I kind of was catching on to that one.
Yeah. My daughter actually loves to line her house. Like she hires those people that put the line of lights around the perimeter, the outline. And the first opportunity, the first time they even allow it is, I think, October 7th or 8th. And she, of course, wants it right now. And they always say, "Ma'am, we can't start that till October." And she, what's the problem? And
I wonder where she gets that
I don't
from.
know. I can't even imagine. And so, but she is usually their first appointment, and she's their very last appointment to take down. So I don't know where she gets it.
Well, she's got some follow through there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, Christmas is just a season for me instead of a day. And I love what the season brings to most people from a standpoint of maybe being a little nicer, a little more friendly, a little more outgoing, those kind of things. And I do think that we've got so much to celebrate this year for sure.
Oh, well, and I always think, and I'm sure we've talked about this in the past, why could we not have the same attitude of giving and sharing those kinds of things year round? Why does it have to be emphasized within because you see donations go up to shelters and
Yeah.
this and that, and you're like, why are we dropping the ball January to November? You know, so but who knows?
No,
So
absolutely.
I have to I was on my national day of, and I have to share.
Oh my gosh. I am a little nervous to ask, but go ahead, Doc.
So let me grab my virtual backgrounds. I actually put some on there today because it was worth it. So we're going to start with food as usual.
Blueberry pancakes. Okay. I can go
It
there
is
probably.
National Pancake
All
Day.
right. I can, yeah, okay. I can probably go pancakes, and blueberry would be my choice. Well, raspberry, strawberry. Okay. Um,
But I would guess you probably wouldn't have it drenched like that picture is behind me
yeah,
with
I know
syrup.
that would be hard for me. I do if the syrup is like authentic, like real, whatever you call all that stuff.
Straight from the tree.
If it's really, really, really authentic, it's not quite as sweet as some of the commercial stuff.
Yes, I have actually a story on the syrup part. Or you say, some people say syrup and others
Syrup.
say syrup.
Syrup.
I had a 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that I used to buy the garbage. I'm sorry. It's all just basically, corn syrup and whatever else based from the store. And she's like, you need to try. She grew up in New Hampshire. And so she said, you have to try, I don't even know what grade it was, grade A syrup. And so I tried it and I was like, not really sure. I started to get used to it, and now I will not go back because I just love it. And you don't have to use a lot for the flavor. You just don't have to. So anyways,
Would you be
that's
available to put the name of it in our comment section under this video on Doc and Queenie Facebook group?
Yes. Yeah, I've got a
I
couple of
mean,
different.
is it commercial? Like anyone can buy it? Anyone can.
I kind of switch around. But yeah, I can put a few
Okay,
brands
because
that I've
we would
used.
definitely love that if you've got some that is less sweet, gooey, icky. Because that high fructose corn syrup, hello. And now pancakes for me is probably once every 6 months kind of thing. But even so, I would rather not have the straight sugar stuff.
Well, and there was actually about a year ago, I did a little research on syrup. They used to have a grade B syrup, which actually was healthier than the grade A's on far as how much they filter your
Okay.
syrup. The grade B's had more vitamins and minerals, and it was better for you. It had probiotics in it, but now they've changed the labeling.
Yeah, there you go.
Now I just tell, because of course it's kind of in food, go for your darkest syrup, because that still has some good stuff left in it. When it's a light brown, it's not so beneficial for the
Wow,
body.
I actually didn't know the color piece had anything to do with it. So thank you very much
So
for that. And if you have brands that you love, please put them in the comment section because that would
I,
definitely interest me. Like I say, it's probably only twice a year, but I would prefer not icky.
yes, so that is one, and let's bounce over to another one. Uh, so what do you think?
Um, are those llamas or alpacas?
Those are alpacas.
Okay,
Happy National Alpaca Day.
thank you so much. Tina Joy Cochran was on a alpaca ranch for much of her life, and that's how I knew her. And she actually had auctions and all kinds of fun stuff out there. And she took alpaca wool
Yep.
and wove it into stuff like scarves and
Yep.
hats and gloves. And I'm telling you, not only was it soft and gorgeous, but it was so warm, it was incredible. And she
Yep.
ran a group called Alpacas for Autism. And she always had her fundraiser at her ranch. And I'm thinking is it Adrian, Missouri? I think it actually started with an A. I think it was Adrian, Missouri, actually. But her ranch was just incredible. And they warned us. Let's be honest. If you get too close to the alpacas, do you know what they do to you?
I do believe they spit.
Correct. And she said, she's directing it at me. I don't understand why, but she said you might want to stay back because it's nasty and it would probably not be a good fit for you. So I was like, okay, I don't know how she knew I wasn't raised on a farm, but she guessed that.
Sorry.
That's all right. She guessed it. Hey, Phyllis, we're glad you're here just in time to talk about alpacas.
Well, in the past, it was about 20 years ago, I had a cleaning company, and one of my clients was an alpaca farmer, or rancher, I should say.
Uh-huh.
And she never was able to clean her house, and sorry, it showed. The dirt, from the country with the wind and the this and the that. But
Well, I
she
don't
had
see how you avoid that. Oh my gosh.
no. So I would come once a week to clean her house. I had I consider it an honor and a privilege. One day when I was there, I usually arrived around 9 o'clock. She's like, "Come here, come here, come here," into the barn, and I got to see a baby alpaca being born, which was really cool.
Wow.
So, but she actually, her story was she grew up in St. Louis and worked in corporate world and decided to just give up the corporate world. And she always wanted to raise alpacas. So she learned how to raise alpacas and she moved out to Kansas City area, just south, bought 20 acres and did the whole thing like Tina Cochran
Wow.
with
That's
the,
awesome.
selling the scarves and hats and
Oh,
everything. I've got a
absolutely.
huge delay and I apologize.
Oh, no,
So,
no, that's okay. Phyllis was posting that she's got an alpaca rescue around from her,
cool.
and she's in Florida on the Gulf side, and she's got acreage. And wouldn't that be the coolest thing ever to have such a resource? And I think this stuff is fascinating.
It really is. And like you said, it's super soft. It just feels oh, it's wonderful. So,
And so,
anyway, so happy
as you might
National.
imagine, Doc, I knew nothing about the topic. And so I figured once you shear an alpaca, they die. And Tina, of course, is very patient and very sweet. And she goes, "No, honey, that you just shave it off, and weave it
It's
or
like,
do whatever you do, and that grows back." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad to know that," because I was feeling badly for having scarves and mittens and fabulous little hats because now I knew an alpaca croaked on my behalf. And she goes, "It doesn't work like that." So, as I said, Tina was very, very patient.
it looks, Phyllis was talking about windy and wet. They've got a hurricane on its way.
Absolutely, they do. You be safe, sister. I really mean it.
Yeah.
Phyllis is a doll, and we were talking at several of my earlier meetings today, Cancun and several places like that. Everybody's not anxious necessarily, but everybody's on high alert, preparation, pay attention, watch the sky, watch the news, and so definitely we are thinking of all of our friends in hurricane territory.
Yes. So those are my national days of. I just thought I'd pick out animals and food.
Absolutely, you're so good at both. Doc, are you thinking that you might be ready for the wheel?
Yes, I'm ready for the wheel, Queenie.
All right. Cross your fingers. You know how that works.
Yes, Phyllis, don't get too close to alpacas, definitely. And we won't even get into the detail of the spit.
Oh gosh, because that's why I say when Tina said you might want to make sure you stay back, because of course I wanted to pet him and feel the hair while it's on him and all that stuff, and she goes, "Not a good fit for you." So I took her advice, and she was gracious, and yeah, and then that's about the time that I said, "Do they die once you shave their hair stuff off?" And she goes, "You've not been on an alpaca ranch before, have you, dear?" I was like, "No, actually, I have not." All right, Doc, here we go. Let's see what our topic for today will be. Wait till it stops all the way. Woohoo! All right. Looks like we have Instagram in our life, and you, my friend, are definitely the expert Instagrammer. And so, how is your Instagram Reels analytics going?
They've slowed down slightly because I haven't been consistent.
Okay.
I've up until about last week was every day posting a reel, and I've just been busy. This greenhouse thing has overtaken
Uh-huh.
me, and because we're rushing, but it's gone down a little bit. My highest reach was 43,000 people,
Oh my
and
gosh.
what that means is that they opened it. So
Okay.
that's all based on hashtag. I do have followers, my followers, and actually, I'll bring this up so I can actually throw out some numbers just for people to, um, you know, hear, listen to. Actually, I've had 409 posts, and I have 599 followers. 2 weeks ago, I had 500 followers. So that's, you know, that's showing you. I try to keep my ratios as far as I've got let's just say 600 people following me. Right now I'm following 616 and I need to kick that number up because I always like to follow a little bit more than who's following me on my ratio. I've noticed that the people that have big numbers on Instagram, there is that ratio. Um, I'm a part of a group called Gardenary, and she does a lot of her advertising, etc., through Instagram. She has 249,000 followers, and she follows, I can't even remember. I was going to say, I probably should have looked that up before I started talking, going down that. Where are they? Of course, they're not popping up. I'm having fun with my phone today too. There we go. Okay, hang on.
It looks like you've got 599 followers.
Just a second. I apologize. She's following 7. Now her ratio is. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. She has posted 4,000 posts, and she has 258,000, and she's following about 1,700. I've heard both sides of the fence on keep it in your area, you know, like keep it in your what your business is. But my business, gardening and food, naturopathy, is all over the place. So I try to keep my ratios as far as, and I'm selective on who I follow. You can kind of tell spam because you might see the same. Well, I think I was telling you this the other day. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was a movie star. Keanu Reeves was following me. And I'm like, yeah, right. Sure he was. Yeah. He wants to know all about gardening in Kansas City. Yeah, sure he was. You know, so I do vet the people that I follow, but I try to keep it, you know, food, gardening, natural remedies, that kind of thing. And I try to keep my ratios, the people I follow, a little bit above the number of followers. And that's just my take. So yeah, numbers wise, to answer the question, this week I'm down to 39,000. And then my percentages, they always on Instagram, you look at your logarithms, you look at your logistics. For example, so on here, where are you? There we go. Professional dashboard is where you look. I occasionally will look and see, here's an insight. Yeah, yesterday's post was 39.1 thousand. It reached 319 people engaged, which means they watched it, or they gave me, you know, a like. Hang on here. I'm trying to break it. I'm waiting for this. And this is in the last 30 days. Top cities audience reached: Istanbul, Tehran, New York, and Ishmar, which I have no idea where that one is. Top countries: United States, that's 35%, 10% Turkey, 8% India, 4% Iran. Top age ranges: 25 to 34, 26% of my followers and watchers are between 25 and 34. My second highest percentage is 45 to 54, and that's 15%. 19% goes to 35 to 44 age range, and then 18 to 24 is 13.4. So that kind of gives me an idea of, you know, it is a younger crowd that is looking at the reels. 56% of my followers are female. Engage. 167 of my 599 followers engage, and then 39.2 thousand people, non-followers, have engaged. So, you know, you could drive yourself crazy with the percentages and the numbers and all of that. I've just noticed, like we always talk about, hashtags are super important. And whatever I type in my little description paragraph, I usually do a couple of lines, little paragraph. I pull words out of that and hashtag it, and then use my usual hashtags of hashtag gardening, hashtag I'm doing the greenhouse right now, so it's DIY, hashtag diary of a greenhouse, hashtag Instagram reels. Those are all big hashtags that generate a lot of buzz.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask, Phyllis is mentioning that she's learning to use her hashtags. And obviously, that is how you are findable. And I always tell people in all the trainings and different classes, even in my water workshops, I always tell people to Google yourself. So see what's going on with you, how you're findable. Plumber in Kansas City, Kangen Water Midwest, whatever your thing is, find out what you are coming up as. My most recent gentleman found me literally on the internet, and he needs a Kangen water machine. So he asked me for my ID number and all that stuff so he can place his order. I, of course, checked all that out, and it was correct, legit. And so, and I always say, what did you search for to find me? And that's when he said Kangen Water Midwest. So are you findable by your hashtags? I'm looking at your Instagram actually on my phone doc, and I noticed that almost everything you have on here is a reel. For someone starting out, and maybe they just want to do a still picture, is that wrong? Or if all of your stuff is reels, it must be strategic how you did that?
Yes, I get more buzz off a reel
Okay.
than I do stories on Instagram. They hang around for 24 hours. To me, I want my content out there regardless of when I did it. I want it to stay.
Okay.
Reels will stay. Reels to me are easy. I don't know if you knew this, Queenie, but I'm an A type of personality. It's a quick in and out, done.
Hang on a second. I need to write that down.
I know. So Instagram reels are 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I always choose 15 seconds because I'm working on my greenhouse. Take a little picture, boom, done. Post it. 40,000 people just looked at that. Yeah. They also do have like a posting piece. I don't know. I have done a few little posts. But I tend personally for me to lean towards the reel.
Okay.
Because I'm never home. So I'm not in front of the computer to post what I need to post. So that's kind of, it's a hit or miss. If you see me on Facebook, you'll see me occasionally post a picture of a flower or make a comment or that. But it's kind of, my habits, my consistency are I'm definitely consistent. I'm not so consistent with my other social media. So I'm opening the door for I know how you teach consistency and cross-pollinating, those things.
Well, the good news is, honestly, for you to get the kind of reach that you have and the success that you've enjoyed from this, there's not a matter of necessarily the teaching and the cross-pollinating, because, oh my gosh, we all learn from you. But the bigger issue, I was wondering, if somebody's just starting out, how would they decide if Instagram is a good fit for them? Like, how would you know that Instagram might be a starting point?
That's a good question. And I'm going to steal from your phrases. Just push a button and just try. It doesn't hurt to try. You may not get a huge response right off the bat, but the best part is you've learned something and you've tried. You haven't, if you procrastinate over it and you never get there, you'll never know, right? I mean, how many times do we, I never should on myself, but that's an example. How many times have we said, oh, I should have done that? But it's just a matter of trying. Push a button and try. You'll never know. And if you're not savvy that way, you'll learn. I mean, I had to learn. You had to learn. You teach a lot about YouTube. How did you get there? You kept pushing buttons and kept learning. And if you look at all of our YouTube videos and our this and that, you can see the progression of, oh, it's kind of interesting how you started there. And you can see like now it's second nature because we've done it. So even just on StreamYard, on Zoom, if you said, hey, I need you to stand up and give a speech. Okay, what it's on basket weaving. All right, I can do that now because I'm conditioned to, think a certain way and just do it. So for the beginner, I'm a big proponent of just do it. You'll never know, and who knows? I was experimenting year and a half ago. I think it was a year ago. I'm once again dates. It was in August. Piece of lettuce. I'm like, well, I'm going to try this Instagram thing. Piece of lettuce, and I had 1,200 people look at it, and I got all these likes, and I'm like, there might be something to that. And so what I've done actually last week, I started expanding into TikTok, and I just posted my second video on TikTok. My first I posted over a year ago, which I crack up because I haven't done anything in a year on TikTok, and I had like 500 people like a video. I took my camera, put it on the airplane window as we were taking off, and I had over 500 people like it. The other day I had a video of my jalapeno plants, and I had over 700 people like it, watch it. So it's people. I think people are bored, Queenie. What do you think?
And I was just looking at that because I'm looking at all these stats that you keep listing, and your Instagram, honestly, is seriously like a tutorial. And that's why I was wondering if, I don't know if people are bored, they might be curious. And I do think there's a lot of searching going on. And in fact, one gentleman actually sent me a message today. I need people who want to do my business as a side hustle. And I always find that term interesting because, first of all, no offense, he's a social media expert, supposedly. So wouldn't you type in looking for people who are interested in hashtag side hustle to be able to do what you do? So it's just amazing to me that people in those capacities are still not, quote, doing it right as far as paying attention and things like that. But I see what you have done on all of your hashtags and things like that for searchability, findability, engagement, all of those things. And I think it is not only fascinating, but like I say, your page is like a tutorial.
Well, we're getting there. But it is. It's just Phyllis had to go. I don't know if she's still on, but thank you for joining.
And that's why I was wondering also. She had to leave, and we're so glad that she could join us live. Most people are watching on the replay now because some people have gone back to JOB type work. And so all of those things are specific parameters. But look how everything has changed in the 2.5 years since the COVID pandemic shutdown, whatever you call that. And you have learned so much about your social media platforms. And look at the growth. That's the part that I say. Your Instagram page is like an actual tutorial that would teach other people how to do this. I think this is fascinating.
Thank you, Queenie. And likewise for everything that you teach with the YouTube and LinkedIn. I mean, it's like your question earlier. It's just push a button and try it. There's no break anything. You really aren't. And experts don't become experts overnight, right?
That is so true. Honestly, an expert at anything was once a beginner. And that is just, I stress that every single time. The expert at anything was once a beginner.
And another little piece of advice, if somebody needs to hear this, is stop putting the pressure on yourself. Stop the pressure. It's not, it's spending too much energy. It's not worth it. Just, it's the one step at a time. And if they're baby steps, they're baby steps. But you'll get there. And I had to punt and pivot. Doc and Queenie was created based off of a change in networking. So, and we're still doing it and still trying to help people. And I mean, you just never know. You never know.
I don't know if you were around during the time when GPS first came out, but it was a little machine about the size of a softball, and you put it in your car and hooked it to something. And now you've got a GPS because we didn't have this stuff on our phones back then. And so, of course, I had all the latest, greatest GPS and different screens and doodah because I'm just so fancy dancy, not knowing how to work that either. But my favorite thing, and in my case, it happened all the time, recalculating. Recalculate.
Yeah.
Recalculating. And I'm sure she's just sitting here going, for the love of heaven, can you please drive the direction I'm showing you? And all of a sudden I'd go, I think that would be better. And so I turn differently than the GPS tells me, recalculating. And I think back to that and I'm just like, how many times the punt and pivot thing, absolutely. But we've had to recalculate what works, what doesn't work, what we're good at, what we're still learning about, what we're choosing, where our target market is, so to speak. And quite frankly, my friends, if you are findable on a Google search to a random person, that to me is sharing that you are doing things right. And just like you said, Doc, take the pressure off.
Yes. Yes. And my confession on GPS, I do remember the boxes. I've been fighting GPS up until last year.
Uh-huh. Yeah, GPS. I can't get out of my closet without a GPS, and everybody who knows me knows that. But like I say, every time I get somewhere, in fact, now they say, "Welcome to Kansas, welcome to Missouri, welcome to wherever you're going," and I, of course, always say thank you. I was taught manners when I was younger, and so I always say thank you. And I'm going, if anybody is around, wouldn't that just be the most bizarre thing? Thank you. And I'm waiting for the GPS or the phone thing to go, "You're welcome," because I actually tell Siri thank you. And she either says no problem, my pleasure, or I think sometimes she says you're welcome. But I just find that stuff so fascinating that computers are talking back to us as if we're having a conversation.
Oh yeah. Well, and you can have a lot of fun. I actually have to tell you this story, and then unfortunately we're going to have to go because our time is up.
Oh my gosh!
But I was coming home from a vacation with a friend, and airport. I drove, and we went to a different airport, so we needed GPS. And her brother, we went to visit her brother down in Florida, as a matter of fact, and he was a jokester, and so we flew back to a little tiny airport in Missouri, and we're driving back up here to where we lived, and so we turned on the GPS, and the GPS voice was like the Grim Reaper. And he kept going, and we're like, oh my gosh, his name is Mike. We're like, Mike. And it was just funny. It's like, do you know where you are? I do. And we're like, yeah, we left it on. We had a blast with it. But,
I bet.
It was good. We had GPS.
Absolutely. And honestly, I can definitely believe that. I think you actually have a setting on your GPS thing that makes like you can choose the voice.
Different voices, yes.
Yeah. And because that would actually terrify me. So I have to have friendly little sweet darling girls talking to me.
Yeah. We had the Grim Reaper with pull over. Come on, pull over. And we're like, no.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It was funny. So, well, thank you, everybody. It looks like our time, unfortunately, is up. That flies too, but hopefully you were able to, get a little tidbit of information about Instagram or Alpaca Day, National Alpaca Day, or, I will put definitely, like Queenie was asking, put some resources for on our post when we, send out the replay. So you can join Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at High noon. There's a delay. Every Monday, or if you want to reach out to Queenie, she is KathyWeave.com and all over social media. I am KitchenGardenExpert.com and Kitchen Garden Expert on social media. Thank you for joining us, whether live or on the replay, and we will catch you next week. Have a fabulous week. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. Bye now.
Bye-bye. You're still alive. Crap. I'm going to leave. I'll see you later.